I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship
Okay.
industrial complex.
I got that part.
No, I just
got
want
that
to
part.
clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words. Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy, end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, when the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court, referring to the current United States Supreme Court, has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well, close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay.
I want to pause it very quickly here.
In November of 2020.
All right. So just to give you guys some context of what's going on, this is a subcommittee hearing examining how government, big tech, academia, and activists collude to silence conservative voices under the guise of fighting misinformation or hate. Okay. So witnesses included investigative journalist Benjamin Weingarten and others. All right. And so Franks was positioned as an expert on the First Amendment issues, online harms, and Section 230 reform. But Senator Kennedy quickly pivoted to her credibility here, asking if her personal political beliefs colored her testimony, especially since she downplayed Biden-era censorship while hyping up President Trump as a threat. All right. And you see here, I just want to quickly say, I want to get your response, Shelley. Folks, these woke white women, they hate white men. Mm-hmm. They hate white men, okay? You know, I hate to talk in these racial terms and stuff. They hate white men.
Yes. They hate white men because of their racial hierarchy. And at the top of that hierarchy, the bane of all existence, human existence, Americans, whomever, are white men. White men are the cause for everything wrong in everybody's life, according to this racial hierarchy, this implicit or explicit bias, whatever it is, whatever the crap is called. But this is why. So, okay, so they were talking about this collusion, right? Well, I don't know if they got to that part, but it's interesting because Matt Taibbi, she should have gone to him, because Matt Taibbi and I think Barry Weiss, they would have supported her in saying how government, social media, all colluded to keep people down. I mean, censored off the internet, things like that, particularly during COVID. So it's interesting, but see, Barry Weiss, I mean, if she's Jewish, but she's white, and Matt Taibbi, a white man, so she probably wouldn't take their, but they would have co-signed what she's saying. This is the thing.
But they don't get it. She don't care about.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Get
They
Trump.
want to. That's what it is. Every
Exactly what it
Trump,
is.
I mean, Trump derangement syndrome. It really should be a diagnostic criteria in the DSM. It really should be. I mean, Trump derangement syndrome. I'm saying Israel derangement syndrome, and I'm not saying that you can't criticize either one, but there is a level of
It becomes
there you go, a level of obsession, neuroses, just locked and loaded, and that's what these people, that's all they see. Anything, and they don't have a clue. I don't even think she even steps back to reflect as a researcher, a scientist, or whatever she is, to say, okay, am I putting my bias into
That's
this?
rational. That's
No,
being
they don't.
and
Right?
they're not rational.
No, they don't.
Right. They don't have any rational thoughts, but the one thought that they do have is, how can I take this little nugget of truth and spin it into something that's going to hurt Donald Trump? And what's so interesting about it, if we have had another president to do what Donald Trump has done in just 1 year, people would be clawing their fingernails at Mount Rushmore, digging his face in. But because they have this well-fed phobia of American exceptionalism, and then you add in the guy who says, let's make America great again, that just took them into the stratosphere with their derangement. Now, I will say most of these people were deranged before Trump. This is not new, but they were already on the edge, and he just kind of pushed them right over the top. But what we're seeing now is that some of America is starting to stand up. Some of America is like, I done had enough of y'all, but it's not enough. There are not enough people calling them out on their bad behavior. John Kennedy is one of them people. He's really good at calling them out on their bad behavior. And he does it funny because he's the one who said that AOC is the reason why they have instructions on shampoo.
Well, he's triggered this woman, folks. It goes on here. Take a look.
You tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You try to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance.
Well, let me
of this
show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m. Quote: "The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy." Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like you have your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy." Close quote. Wow. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly?
That
Is
was
there
a
a question that
question.
is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
and other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment,
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
Absolutely. She was steaming. She reminded me of a female version of Rumpelstiltskin. If she could have stood up and started jumping up and down, She would have done it. Oh my gosh. We
would
steam coming out of her ears, Nicole.
Listen, those little lips and rolled in on it. So she was like, I was like, okay, you know, that's not the place where you want to puff up, honey. That is definitely not the place.
It's interesting that when she said, he was reading her quotes about this fears that she believes America has a fear of women. They really do believe that. And so this is what they are reacting to, the craziness in their own mind, the delusions and maybe hallucinations that people that they see harming white women. Well, it's interesting though, this is the sidebar. It's interesting though that I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 names. Dakara Thompson, Jocelyn Ingeray, Laken Riley, Stephanie Mentor now, Sheridan Gorman, poor thing, and Rachel Morin. These women were killed by murder. Let me correct myself. They were murdered by men. They really hate women.
Right.
But they are legal aliens. But her type, I don't know if she personally, but her type go all out of their way to protect these same men who murder women, young women. Younger, they could be our daughters for the most part, right? Rachel Morin was a mother of 5. A white woman. These people are murdered and they don't blink an eye.
It's so weird. And we have seen this time and time again, these women, particularly in law enforcement, where they provide this toxic empathy for criminals, but then they hate these white men, these men that haven't done anything to them. It's so bizarre.
It's worse than toxic. It's suicidal.
Yeah.
Because there's some of us on this planet are harder to kill than others. You see what I'm saying? Because we go out all the time. None of us are going out to a protest carrying a baby in the middle of a snowstorm, making yourself a sitting target for somebody, some nut job to shoot you, kill you, or do any of that kind of thing. This is what these women are doing.
Yeah.
That they are target number 1 for a lot of this quote unquote illegal migrant crime. And seemingly they don't care. All they care about is toppling off white men. They want white men out of the way so they can take the alpha position and basically ruin the country. Because I can't live with that level of emotion. I can't.
Yeah.
We're going to need a purge.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I can think of is white men need to start having babies with black conservatives. That's what you got.
Well,
Look,
wait a minute. You know, wait. I'm not with you today.
I'm joking. We just talking about
she's just a mess tonight.
white woke women.
First bras was off. Now we making babies. What is going on here tonight?
No, I'm just joking. But anyway, I'm not joking. You can love whoever you want to love.
Right,
absolutely. And President Trump said, make a bunch of babies.
Yeah,
Let's go.
whatever you would love. We have some super chat. All right,